The year is 180 AD. You're standing on the edge of the world. The sky over the Germanic frontier is the color of a bruised lung, heavy, purple, and suffocating. The wind doesn't just blow here, it screams through the dark, jagged pines, carrying the metallic tang of old blood and the scent of 1,000 fires burning in the distance. You are Secundus, a young man who has spent his entire life dreaming of the eagle. You are wearing the lorica segmentata, the iconic plated armor of Rome, but today it feels like a leaden coffin. Your fingers are purple from the frost, clutching the hilt of your gladius so hard that your bones ache. You can hear them. Out there, in the mist, the Germanic tribes are chanting. It's a low, guttural vibration that makes the marrow in your bones shiver. Across from you stands Centurion Maximus. He is a man who hasn't just fought wars, he has become war. His face is a map of scars, each one a lesson he barely survived. He doesn't look at your rank, he looks at the frantic rhythm of your carotid artery pulsing in your neck. He sees your soul trying to flee your body. He steps closer, his breath a white cloud in the freezing air, and asks the question that will either forge you or break you forever. Secundus, if 10 barbarians erupt from that mist right now, men who have never known mercy, men who want to wear your skin as a trophy, how many will you send to the underworld before you touch the dirt? You, fueled by the hollow bravado of a boy who has only fought straw dummies, bark back, "All 10, sir, for the glory of Rome and the honor of my father." The silence that follows is more devastating than any spear. Maximus doesn't blink. He looks at you with a weary, ancient sadness and whispers, "Wrong. You will die before the first one even smells your fear." Because in the exact millisecond your mind jumped to the 10th enemy, you surrendered your life to the first. You are already a ghost, Secundus. You are a walking corpse who simply hasn't realized his heart has stopped. This is the Roman paradox. This is the secret that built an empire and sustained the greatest warriors in history. And here is the brutal truth you are ignoring today. You are fighting 10 invisible legions right now. You are battling digital addiction, the crushing weight of debt, the decay of your relationships, and a paralyzing anxiety about a future that doesn't even exist yet. You are losing every single one of those battles for the exact same reason those recruits died in the mud 2,000 years ago. You are everywhere except right here. You are trying to defeat next year, while this very second is cutting your throat. Are you ready to stop being a ghost? Are you ready to reclaim the only thing you truly own? This breath, this moment, this life? Chapter 1. The Anatomy of the Scattered Mind. Secundus's journey into the light didn't begin with a hero's welcome. It began in the bitter, salty taste of humiliation. He was a master of the ludi, the training grounds. For 5 years he had bled on the sand of the barracks. He could execute a shield wall maneuver with mathematical precision. His thrust was the fastest in the century. He knew the history of every campaign, from Scipio to Trajan. But he had a sickness of the spirit that no amount of physical drilling could cure. He was addicted to the outcome. During heavy sparring sessions, when the wooden Rudy swords clattered like thunder, Secundus's internal world was a chaotic theater of noise. While his body was in the fight, his mind was miles away. What if I lose this match and the legate sees? What if I'm not promoted to Optionus? What if I die without a single coin on my name? This mental noise, this future focus, had a direct biological consequence. His nervous system would enter a state of high alert, but it was a brittle energy. His breathing would shift from the diaphragm to the chest, short, jagged, shallow gasps. His muscles, once fluid, became rigid. He was fighting himself more than he was fighting his opponent. The veterans knew it. They watched him with pity. They called him the Ghost. Secundus has the armor of a Caesar, but he has the heart of a frightened rabbit. He thinks so much about the end of the war that he forgets he's in the middle of a battle.
he won't survive the trial of iron. The trial of iron was the jagged threshold. It was the moment where a boy became a man of the eagle. It was a duel against Maximus himself, but with a terrifying twist. The wooden swords were discarded. The master used a sharpened, battle-ready gladius. The student used his training sword. It was a test of absolute presence under the threat of death. Most men faced this at 18. Secundus was nearing his 21st year, and Maximus had treated him like he didn't exist. One night, the cold of the German forest felt like it was trying to crack the stones of the camp. Secundus approached Maximus's tent. The general was sitting in a simple wooden chair, staring at the single flame of a bronze oil lamp. He wasn't reading, he wasn't writing, he was just being. Secundus knelt. The silence was agonizing. He waited for 10 minutes, 30, an hour. Every second, his mind offered him a reason to leave. He's insulting you. He doesn't think you're worth a word. You should just desert. Finally, Maximus spoke. His voice was low, like stones grinding together. When will I be ready for the trial, General? I have mastered the shield. I have mastered the blade. Why am I still a shadow in your camp?
Maximus looked at him. Those eyes had seen the fall of kings. You master the tools, Secundus, but you are a slave to your imagination. You are a master of the past and a prophet of the future, but you are a stranger to the present. Taming the iron is child's play. Taming the now is what separates a man from a god. I don't understand, sir. Stand up. Take your sword. Strike me now. Secundus stood. His hands were shaking. The general was sitting, unarmed, his hands resting on his knees. It was the perfect opening. Any recruit could have ended it there. But Secundus froze. A wall of what-ifs exploded in his brain. What if I accidentally kill him? What if this is a trick to have me executed for treason? What if I miss and look incompetent? Maximus's face became a mask of cold, unforgiving marble. Respect? No. You use the word duty to coat your cowardice. The truth is, you are terrified of the consequences. You are thinking about the punishment, the judgment of your peers, what happens 10 minutes from now. Your mind is in 1,000 places, while the only place that matters, the space between your blade and my chest, is empty. Until you learn to inhabit the now with the same intensity that a flame inhabits a candle, you are not a soldier. You are just a corpse with a fancy helmet. Go to the forest, sit in the dark, don't come back until the you are so afraid of finally dies. Chapter 2, Mens Nova, the Doctrine of the Sacred Ordinary. The next morning, Secundus expected to be sent on a suicide mission. Instead, Maximus gave an order that felt like a slap in the face. Today, no one touches a weapon. Today, you will scrub the floors of the temple and the stones of the latrines with your bare hands and a bucket of sand. Secundus felt a surge of volcanic rage. I am a descendant of Romulus. I should be perfecting my thrust, not cleaning filth. But as the day progressed, he watched Maximus. The general was scrubbing beside them, but he wasn't cleaning. He was present. Every motion of his hand was a ceremony. When he scrubbed a stone, that stone was his entire universe. He didn't look ahead to the next stone. He didn't look back at the dirt he'd already cleared. He was in a state of total immersive flow. There was a sacred dignity in his labor that made the mud look like gold. After 14 hours, when their fingernails were bleeding and their backs were screaming, Maximus called Secundus over. "What did you see today, recruit?" "That even a general must clean the camp, sir?" Maximus smiled a thin, dangerous smile. "No, you saw the mens nova, the mind of the initiate. When a child picks up a stone for the first time, he doesn't think about its weight in a catapult. He doesn't think about its value in denarii. He sees the stone, just the stone.
He has no expectation of fame, no fear of being the best, no memory of yesterday's failure. He is simply there. You, Secundus, scrub the floor while your mind is in the arena. You eat your bread while your mind is in the tavern. You sleep while your mind is in the battle. You are never actually alive for any of it. The greatest weapon of Rome is not the testudo formation. It is zanshin, the awareness that never wavers. If you cannot be present while cleaning filth, you will be a distraction when the axes fall. To be a master of the sword, you must first be a master of the broom. The general's words were a surgical strike into Secundus's ego. From this moment on, your training changes. When you eat, you will taste the grain, the salt, the water. When you walk, you will feel the texture of every pebble through your sandal. When you breathe, there is only the air entering your lungs. Nothing else exists. Not Rome, not the war, not your name. For how long, sir? Until the 10 enemies in your head vanish and only the reality in front of you remains. Mid-video CTA, the call to the Legion. Before we witness the psychological transformation of Secundus, I have to ask you, how much of your life are you currently missing? How much of each moment with your family, how much of your work, and how much of your own potential is being stolen by a mind that refuses to stay in your body? We are living in an age of distraction, but you can choose the way of the Legion. Subscribe to this channel right now. Join our community of modern warriors who are reclaiming their focus, their discipline, and their lives from the chaos. Don't be a ghost in your own story. Hit the button. Join the presence. Now back to the frontier. Chapter 3. The Neuroscience of the Stoic Warrior. The weeks that followed were a psychological execution. Secundus's mind fought him like a trapped, starving animal. Every activity felt agonizingly slow. His brain screamed for stimulation, for the future, for noise. But in the third week, something happened. During a morning meditation by the river, for just 10 seconds, the internal chatter stopped. It wasn't that he forced it to stop, it just dissolved. In that gap of silence, the world rushed in. He heard the heartbeat of the forest. He felt the microscopic vibration of the wind against the hairs on his arm. He saw the way the sunlight fractured on the water, not as a pretty view, but as a raw, overwhelming reality. He realized that he had been asleep his entire life. He realized that fear only exists in the future and regret only exists in the past. In the now, there is no such thing as fear. There is only what is happening. Modern neuroscience has a name for what Secundus was doing. He was deactivating his default mode network. This is the brain's autopilot that handles mind wandering, rumination, and anxiety. By practicing absolute presence, he was physically thickening his prefrontal cortex and shrinking his amygdala, the brain's fear center.
The Romans didn't have MRI machines, but they understood the result. They called it phudoshin, the immovable mind. It is a state where the soul is like a mountain. The weather may change, the storms may howl, but the mountain remains. Chapter 4. The Trial of Iron and the Trap of Victory. The morning of the trial arrived. The air was so cold it felt like breathing glass. The entire sentry gathered in a silent circle in the center of the camp. General Maximus stood in the center. He was wearing his full battle gear, the crimson cape billowing behind him like a cloud of blood. In his hand was a gleaming, razor-sharp gladius. Secundus was handed a wooden rudis. This was the tradition. The master uses the truth of steel. The student uses the shadow of wood. If the master strikes, the student dies. If the student strikes, the master is merely bruised. It is the ultimate test of no mind. The duel began.
Maximus didn't hold back. He moved with a lethality that defied his age. A high strike, a low sweep, a sudden thrust aimed at Secundus's throat. The old Secundus would have been drowning in panic, but the new Secundus simply took a breath. He felt the cold mud between his toes. He heard the rustle of the general's cape. He wasn't fighting Maximus. He was simply being present with the movement of the universe. When the steel whistled toward his neck, Secundus didn't think about the parry. He didn't recall a manual. His body, freed from the interference of his ego, simply flowed. He sidestepped the blade by a fraction of an inch. He felt the coldness of the metal against his skin, but his heart rate didn't even skip a beat. The fight lasted for an eternity. The soldiers watching were mesmerized. It looked like a dance. Secundus wasn't trying to win. He wasn't trying to impress. He was simply there. Suddenly, Maximus left a massive, glaring opening in his defense. It was an invitation to strike, a chance for Secundus to land a blow on the greatest general in Rome and secure his fame forever. The entire camp held its breath. Secundus saw the opening. He felt the urge to lunge, but then he stayed still. He didn't take the bait. His presence revealed the truth. It was a deception. It was a lure designed to make him overcommit and lose his balance. Maximus lowered his sword. He stepped back and bowed, not as a superior to a subordinate, but as one master to another. "Enough," Maximus whispered. "You have passed."
"But I didn't land a blow, sir," Secundus said, his voice steady and calm. "You defeated the 10 enemies in your head," Maximus replied. "And that is the only victory that matters. The sword is just a tool. Presence is the weapon. When you refused that opening, you showed the wisdom of a man who can see through the illusions of the world. The fool tries to win every exchange. The warrior understands that some victories are just deaths in disguise." Chapter 5. The Legacy of the Empty Hand. Secundus became a general whose name was whispered with awe from the deserts of Egypt to the walls of Britain. But his greatest battles weren't fought with steel. They were fought in the silence of his own mind. 10 years later, Secundus stood in the same training ground where he had once trembled. A young recruit, eager and frantic, stood before him. "General Secundus," the boy panted, "I want to be the greatest warrior Rome has ever seen. I want the eagle. I want the glory." Secundus looked at the boy and saw a ghost. He saw the same scattered energy, the same obsession with a future that might never come. "Come with me," Secundus said. He led the boy to a small, quiet corner of the camp and handed him a broom. "But sir, I am a soldier. I want to fight." Secundus smiled, and for a moment he looked exactly like Maximus. "You want to conquer the world? Then start by conquering this square of dirt. When you sweep, just sweep. Be completely present with the broom, the floor, the movement. Because I will tell you a secret that the emperors will never admit. There is no greatest warrior. There is only this moment, and the next, and the next. If you can be fully present for each one, you will discover that the sword doesn't make you powerful. Presence makes you free." The boy looked confused. He looked disappointed, but he began to sweep. Secundus watched him, seeing the mind wandering, seeing the impatience, and he smiled. The teaching continues, not through lectures, but through the thousand small moments of being completely here, now. As you finish this video, I want you to do something. Don't close the tab immediately. Don't check your notifications. Just sit. Feel the air entering your nostrils. Feel the weight of your body against your chair. Hear the distant hum of the world. You are currently fighting 10 enemies. Your phone is an enemy. Your past is an enemy. Your anxiety about tomorrow is an enemy.
but they only have power because you have vacated your own life. You have left the pilot's seat. The Roman secret wasn't the strength of their shields, it was the strength of their presence. It was the ability to stand in the middle of a collapsing empire and remain absolutely, terrifyingly still. Go out today. Don't just walk, feel the earth. Don't just work, be the work. Don't just live, exist. The path of the warrior isn't about the sword, it's about the soul. I will see you in the next lesson, warrior. Stay present, stay unshakable, stay Roman.